Hey, what's going on, man? Yeah, I wanna get a little history on this one. When I first entered YA, once I was out of camp, I was me and the homies was like chilling and shit in a shack from 47th to Broadway, and we kicking it and shit and got late, right? So I was ready to go home, and I didn't have my way home. So I said, damn, I have to walk through all these different hoods to go home. So I had my 501s and like a Batman jacket on and shit. So I grabbed a sawed off gauge and I stuck it right here in my waistband and shit, and zipped my jacket up. So I like, man, I tell the homies, man, I'll give it y'all tomorrow, man. They like, cuz, you sure you want to stay? I'm like, no, cuz, I'm going to the house. So I walked down Broadway. I hit 54th to Figueroa. Then I went down Fig to 59th. But when I looked across the street, the police was just staring at me and shit. I'm like, damn, I'm like, fuck. So I broke and ran. They came, bam. So I ran around the store on 59th, right there on the corner, and Figueroa. It's a little gate right there in the alley, but I went through the gate and like it was dead end. I'm like, fuck, I can't get out the gate. So I took the gauge out and I tried to throw it on the roof. And so I pulled up the gun. The police like, freeze, drop it. I'm like, damn. So I like dropped the gun and they told me to lay down on the ground, and so I laid down and they came and cuffed me up. So that's when I first went to YA, and this was like 80, 81, and that was still in the generations of the first and second generation of the Crips, you know what I mean, from the 70s to the early 80s. So when I went to YA and shit, it was cool. It was different from camp because that was like little kid shit. But when I got, it was like motherfuckers up to 18 on down. And back then, I was like about just turning 17 and shit when I got to YA. So I ended up staying in, matter of fact, I ended up going to YTS to do my time and shit. So if nobody don't know what YTS is, it's a youth training school up in Ontario. So the buildings is like alphabets, A and B, C and D, shit like that, E and F, M and N, stuff like that, I and J and stuff. So I end up on M and up there was a few gang of Crips. It's like a gladiator school, nothing but gang banging from Bloods to Crips in there. And on my company with me back then was Baby Boy for Trey 57, uh, Godfather from 6ix9ine East Coast, Zigzag from Great, and Baby Punch from the Hood, my homie Gangster Rock. And, that was on my company because the rest of the homies, they was in there too, but they was on different buildings and shit, you know. And Monster and all them, they was on different buildings too. We was up there, the Crips was up there deep, the gangsters and the Hoovers, the neighborhoods, everybody. It was just the East Coasters, they was like deep as fuck. So we used to walk the trade line, me and the homies, and they had a smoke break area. So at break time on the trade line, we all be in a smoke break. You get a lot of fights there from enemies and shit. Crips and Bloods or Crips on Crips, whatever, especially on the trade line. You got like a lot of body shops that go all the way around like an L and shit. So you got fights in the trade line all the time or in the buildings and shit, you know what I mean? It's like motherfuckers straight banging back then, you know what I mean? And that's like how motherfucker really get to learn how to fight, especially when I was coming up in the hood. Like our allies, like the Fire Trade Avalons, they hood right next to ours. So when we used to fight them coming up, our squabble ain't never been no gunplay. It was just fighting me back home, me drinking and shit like that. But that's how we learned how to fight and shit, get our squabble on and shit back in the days and shit, man. But it was cool. It was still homie love. We still had love for each other, and we didn't let nobody other hood like really invade what we had. All since I was a game banger with the Avalons and the Broadway, we always been tight like that. See what I'm saying? So fighting all the time, man. It was like it was cool. It wasn't never no gunplay till '79. That's when one of my first homies got shot when we had a little football game function and shit. My homeboy Gangster Lee and shit got killed. Against Belize Park, we were playing the four trades, some football. That's how we became enemies. You know what I mean? When they killed the homie. And a lot of these hoods right now, they even know why we enemies today. Like the East Coast, nobody know the four trade. A lot of them dudes just ask me, Jill, hey, Bo, man, how we became enemies? So I sit down and tell them this shit. Like when the homies, I was got enemy with the East Coasters. Muzzy killed, what's cuz name? Termite. Termite got killed by one of my homeboys from Six Deuce. And that's how we became enemies. But us in the East Coast used to kick it real tough in our apartments on Gage and Broadway. We used to kick it real tough. Had little meets and shit at Bethune and all this and that, you know what I'm saying? And before all this shit happened, but before Termite got killed, all this shit happened behind homegirls. They homegirl fuck with the homies, and that's how the shit happened behind females and shit. That happened down to every hood. Them brawls they want to come fuck with their enemies, not even any but other hoods, and that nigga get jealous, get mad, want to fight the homie, and that shit like go back and forth. You know what I'm saying? The fights and you can't function and shit like that. You know what I'm saying? So it's like kind of like now the way you look at it now, like we ain't warring with these customers no more. Since I've been out, since I was in jail, I heard that they call ceasefire. So I like cool, cause brothers, it's time brothers start killing brothers like that in this gang. Like since then we all get to come together, cause man, a lot of these hoods, the Spanish done took over, man, taking over hoods and shit and killing them and this and that. Man, it's time for us to come together. So I liked it when I heard that. So I'm saying, but I'm gonna continue this story in a minute, you know what I mean? Because more, I want to get y'all too tired of this and that. See what I'm saying? And plus, this all my shit I talk to you, all these things is all on YouTube. You know what I mean? I'm the Ed Berry.